Good morning. This is John Phillip with Senior Enrollment Solutions. It's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, July 22nd, 2022. You are tuned into the Roadmap to Success, Marketing and CMS Compliance, how to remain compliant in a very compliant world that we live in now in the Medicare and the financial arena. Today, we're going to be specifically discussing Medicare and CMS changes, what compliance is, and how to remain compliant as an agent. This webinar should last roughly an hour's time. We'll run our webinars from 10 to 11 a.m. with Q&A from 11 to 12. If you have questions, certainly put them in the chat area. We'll answer them after the webinar. Or if you have any specific questions, you can certainly reach out to us directly. All of our information will be on the very end of this webinar. So we are here 24/7 to support you as an agent community. If you ever have questions or concerns, we do have an open text line for you with licensed agents that are here to support you 24/7. So I do see a few others are continuing to log in. Give me just a brief moment and we'll begin here. Let me shut my phone off. All right, compliance. What is it? How can you conduct yourself compliantly? Well, first and foremost, let's get caught up from last week's webinar. So quick disclaimer, many of you have been tuned in this entire time. I believe we're on week number 15 or 14 of this 22-week roadmap. So we are ending here the end of September, obviously with another holiday coming. Every Friday we'll be having these webinars, and there's so many questions that have come out of this, so much great thinking with other agents in the communities and agencies on marketing, running your business. All of these webinars will be on YouTube. So you can hop on YouTube under the SES Agent YouTube channel and find our webinars as they continue to run on a weekly basis. We'll throw them on the YouTube channel. So if you've missed any or you want to go back and review, certainly go back and review or watch for the first time. But in tuning in, the whole premise of this is to have you write more business. The whole premise of this is to have you continue to fall in and settle into a professional role within your organization. Some of you have been conducting business for a long time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are taking just the necessary little differences or steps to build your book of business or to continue to grow. And if you want to prove me wrong, bring me your 1099s for the last 5 years. And let's really look and see if COVID affected you. Let's look and see if your business continues to grow in a steady increase, or are you declining steadily? This webinar series, this Roadmap to Success, will assist you in bringing you back to the keeping it simple and to review the topics of basic sales 101. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It doesn't matter if it's Medicare. It doesn't matter, if it's air conditioning units or alcohol to a vendor. Sales 101 is so important in understanding just the basic human nature, which we will continue to discuss on briefly as time rolls on with marketing this upcoming week. So compliance, that's really what we're discussing today. And there's so many different compliance rules in this industry. And I want to bring you from 1,000-foot view all the way down to ground level. So that way you can really understand how to remain compliant and how to make sure that you're not ever losing your job or your renewals, your license, your livelihood in this industry simply because you were non-compliant as an agent. Unfortunately, you're unable to play dumb saying, I didn't know, right? I didn't read my AHIP. I paid someone to do it for me, or whatever the case may be. Compliance is everyone's responsibility, not only on the carrier side, but all the way down to the agent. And through the AHIP and your carrier certifications, they should be drilling this into your mind that you need to remain compliant. Let's go through last week briefly. Last week, we discussed getting your compliance in order, right? Covering your hiney in the event something does occur. How do you prove yourself depending on the marketing that you're using? If someone's watching a television commercial and then going to your website and clicking your PURL, that's very different than you being at a soup kitchen with a table in a semi-formal event, right? So understanding the different levels of compliance is really important. Making sure that your technology is updated if necessary to handle that compliance. We're not expecting that you have the ability to store and record your calls. We don't expect that you have the ability to have a server, or some of you, many of you, don't even have a brick and mortar office setting to have that server or offsite server. So there's so much on the technology that we're going to continue to work through as we continue to discuss the technology on the carrier standpoint or carrier side, on what they're providing to you with the recordings and storing of your applications, and why it continues to be so crucial that you continue to learn how to write business online and telephonically. We've discussed the importance of getting your client list organized. We are heading into AEP. Many of you were discussing mailers going out. Many of you were discussing AEP reminder postcards to your current book, or if you have a loved one, certainly send them to me as an AEP postcard, right? It's all on everyone's mind on getting that marketing prepared, organized, ordered, and beginning to get into the print houses, so that way we can either get them labeled and stamped or have someone prepared to send out however many thousands or hundreds of postcards and mailer pieces. Prepare your marketing. We need to submit it for approval. So going back to last week again, anything that has any value added benefits. Many of you have dental, vision, hearing, or dental, long-term care, Medicare, or whatever on your business card needs a multi-plan now. You're mentioning dental. If you're mentioning any of the value-added benefits, or if you have any specific plan benefits, right? Offering a zero-cost insulin or what have you, all of that has to have a multi-plan now. So that list can be absorbently long depending on how you're marketing. Check your business cards. Any trifolds that you may be passing out that are not carrier specific. Anything carrier specific, you'll notice will have that multi-plan on the bottom, including their website. So your website and the footer should be having the multi-plan on every page, as well as the disclaimer that we'll get into here in a moment's time. But any marketing pieces, any flyers that you put up representing yourself at a Section 8 or a skilled nursing facility, any of the tear-offs that you have at the laundry mats, anything that you have up at Panera Breads, or any of that has to have that multi-plan pre-approved marketing on it if you are discussing any value-added benefits or if you are creating your own marketing materials. We need time to get it approved through CMS. So if you are wanting to create something, let us send you over what we currently have so you can manipulate it slightly. Our stuff is already multi-plan approved, so just changing the name and phone number is very easy to assist you as an agent. But if you are, once again, looking to create your own, just understand this is now a must with this upcoming annual enrollment period. Order your carrier-specific marketing now. Your trifolds, your mailer pieces. You can hop onto any of the national carrier websites. They will have specific pieces that will be branding that carrier. So if you market with the carrier branding, the compliance is much, much easier. If you're going to market on your own accord, once again, it needs to have that multi-plan and be submitted through CMS. The closer we get to annual enrollment period, the longer that will take. Your homework this last week was to get your book of business organized for mailers, emailers, however you wish to market yourself. Will help you understand how to engage with those consumers again. Even if you're unable to find them or you don't have their phone numbers anymore, that's completely fine. We'll help you get in touch with those clients, but we need for you to have your book of business organized. If you have not done so yet, please get your AHIP taken care of. there are many carriers. You should or could be about 60% of the way through on a national level of getting through the carrier certifications as well. Get your AHIP done by the end of July. SCS will reimburse you the cost of your AHIP. You should be able to have your United Health, Molina, Aetna, Humana, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Anthem, Devoted. Who else is out? There's quite a few that are out at this moment in time. I'm sure I'm missing 2 or 3. So make sure that you remain up to speed on your certifications. There's basically 9 here in the state of Michigan. Obviously, PHP hasn't released yet. Priority Health is requiring an in-person. You can join us at one of our lunch and learns in August or September for Priority Health, face-to-face, or we will be having webinars with Priority Health. It's on the Priority Health agent portal. You would just click under Senior Enrollment Solutions to find the locations. Obviously, we need to create a marketing plan, right? What are you doing this annual enrollment period? Next week, we'll be going through costs. We'll be going through options in regards to marketing, how to get out and let the world know that you've arrived, right? We discussed how last week, 95% of your job is marketing. It's making contact with someone in some fashion. Now we're going to get into the compliance, right? How do you compliantly reach out and make contact with these individuals? I really wish there were other industries that had the same compliance rules, like real estate agents, for instance. You could be standing at a grocery store line and get a stack of real estate agent cards. Hey, I sell homes, right? Or even at the bar, your bartender is now a real estate agent giving you cards. So we're going to dive into the compliance side of it in regards to how to remain compliant with your marketing plan, but you need to have a plan established. How many apps are you looking to write this upcoming AEP or this upcoming year? And what do we need to do to make sure that we understand the numbers, not the emotion, the numbers, to allow for you to get to your goals? Begin creating marketing materials. As I mentioned, if you are looking at creating anything, your marketing materials should be first and foremost. You should have this done really by August 1st to begin getting them labeled or what have you approved by September 1st if you're creating your own, to then get them out in the mail roughly by September 15th, right? So literally we have less than 60 days to get our marketing materials out. And that is the important part, but really the logistics is getting it approved and getting it in print. So there's been a lot of changes to marketing guidelines, and there's basically 2 that we need to discuss. The first thing is we need to know the laws and the rules to remain 100% compliant. And the only time that compliance is really going to come into play is in the event you actually have a disgruntled consumer, or sometimes you may even have a consumer that phones the carrier simply with questions. And because their medications changed, because their doctor changed, because whatever occurred, that rep on the phone at the carrier level will automatically just assume that they're making a complaint, and now you have an allegation. Shortly, that allegation will have to be proved, especially on any sales call. So understanding how to remain 100% compliant is very, very important. Your CMS marketing approval on anything that you're making in print, right? That's why we carry errors and omissions insurance, to make sure that if we say something or we have something in print that is incorrect, that if we do happen to get sued, that we carry insurance for that, right? But that marketing approval is incredibly important, that you're not getting in trouble with CMS for sending out marketing materials that are not approved. The disclaimer that came out 10/1 will be a law. It's now a rule, right? They passed it from a rule. As of 10/1, it will become law. And now you need to record all of your sales calls. So really, there's some significant changes on the CMS front that we need to truly dive into to make sure that we all understand exactly what's occurring. So first and foremost, their marketing guidelines have changed, right? The multi-plan marketing material approval number must be on all created pieces. Whether or not it's a TV ad, a billboard, whatever it may be on the print side, you must have that multi-plan marketing material approval number on it. Create any marketing material you want to create. Will help you doctor it if necessary and make sure it's professional and eye-catching, etc. And then we will submit it to CMS on your behalf. They'll provide us an approval and a multi-plan code. We'll then add that to your piece, or you can add it to your piece, depending if you're working with someone, you know, a third party like a Fiverr, or you have your own graphic designer that's creating some of your marketing pieces. To add to that marketing piece, just remember that the approval time continues to increase as we get closer to AEP, right? Anything that is personally created, not carrier created, with any plan highlights or benefits, value added, must be approved, including your business cards, your table tents, your flyers, your postcards, your generic mailer pieces, your AEP postcards, etc. All need to be approved now. So it does stink. Is it costly as an agent? Absolutely. If you just got trifolds created and you have a box of them, obviously they're going to be going out the door. If you just got 1,000 business cards created, they're going out the door. Or change your business card, change your trifold, change your table tent perhaps, so that way we don't have to do this again. I mean, obviously it's this one and done, if you will, but making sure that all of your marketing materials, if created on your own, are approved. So very, very, very important. I know a lot of agents don't wish to use carrier marketing materials, if not at a grassroots events, and that's perfectly fine. Once again, we do have table tents, flyers, postcards, trifolds. We'll help you get them created, but that multi-plan approval code as of effective October 1st is so important to recognize as an agent. You don't want to get yourself in trouble with CMS. Next, CMS and the required disclaimer. Because of the third party, the J.J. Walkers, the ex-NFL Hall of Famer commercials, what these organizations did was they made a national commercial and they aired it nationally, which they shouldn't have done. They were airing commercials in counties that didn't have the honor plan or the Part B give back plans, which then led to even more confusion on the consumer side. And in 2020, there were something like 18,000 CMS complaints. And in 2021, that number jumped from 18,000 to 42,000 or so CMS complaints. There's so much just rhetoric going on, and we're going to discuss how to overcome the TV ads and commercials in our upcoming lunch and learns and webinars. But this is so important to recognize why one bad apple ruins the bunch, right? Why, as a field agent, now we're responsible for the poor outcomes or advertising, the rhetoric that a lot of these call centers have had. So this disclaimer has to be everywhere. On the bottom of all of your websites, if you do happen to have a website, and this disclaimer must be played within the first 60 seconds of a sales call. There are many agents that have phoned in saying, I'm not recording my calls. I don't need to. I'm a field agent, right? I'm not going to do anything over the phone as a sales call. I don't have internet at home, or I don't have a desktop at home, or right. I mean, wherever you're at as an agent technology-wise, I'll tell you this. Two things. What happens on October 5th or 6th when that consumer finally decides that they want to have this new plan, or they finally get their blood work back or their medication list back and they need to enroll in a different plan? Do you have the time to go out and visit with them, or are you going to figure out a way to collectively make the sales call? There will be sales calls made, and the technology that the carriers are providing you is making this more and more streamlined and easy to do. but this disclaimer must be played within the first 60 seconds of a sales call. So if you have a system that you're able to play a prompt, play the prompt. If you need the prompt, let us know. We'll provide you the prompt in a pre-recorded fashion. My concern is that you will want this to be pre-recorded, because if you ever have a compliance issue, if you miss a word out of this, now you might be in trouble, right? It has to be verbatim. And the only way to remove the human error out of this is to have this recorded and to make sure that you as an agent are capable of having this prompt played. Now, we did receive an agency prompt, which I'm going to share with you here now. The agency prompt allows for you to play the prompt up front, and then they've added their own disclaimer afterwards, which I haven't read anything wrong about this, that they're stating, look, yes, we may not offer every plan, but as a fiduciary, as someone who's going to do the right thing for our clients, if by chance we don't offer that plan, we're going to help guide you and find the right plan for you. So if you have a website, reach out to your IT, reach out to your website designers. You have to have this implemented by October 1st. It would behoove of you to make sure, and some of the, depending on the size of your organization, I see some of you are a little larger and smaller that are on, it may take longer to have your IT get through however many URLs that you have or websites that you have. In your email signature, this should be within your email signature as well. As a website, you'd want to have this on the footer, meaning that it's on all pages of the website. That's what you're asking your IT or your website designer to handle for you. And then obviously, if you have any auto text capabilities within your organization, you'll want to make sure that you're adding this to your auto text as well. So first, we have this multi-plan for anything print that needs to be added. Second, we have this disclaimer that needs to be on everything, including your billboards, TV commercials, etc. If you have questions about font size or font style or any of that, please review. It's on page 195 and 196 of the new CMS ruling that came out, May 9th, I believe? June 9th, my apologies. That goes into effect October 1st. So this is so important. As you may be making that sales call, it does need to be recorded, and you have to have that disclaimer played. So once again, get one created, or make sure that your system has the capability of just playing a prompt, and that will alleviate any human error of you potentially not stating anything appropriate. So this required recording is incredibly important. We'll dive deeper here in the next slide or two on exactly what this all is. It was announced May 9th, and it becomes law October 1st. So as many of you that are on the call have taken your AHIP, the AHIP provided limited information. So if you need it, go back to it. You should have all the slides saved, but if you want the slides again, it's on module 4, slide 66 is where they make their blurb about this required recording. Full document may be found on the CMS portal, and it's 198 pages long. So focus on the writing and how they word all of this, pages 194 through 196. I'm assuming any of you attending the Madahu event, September 15th. If you don't know what that is, I'm assuming that you haven't been on LinkedIn or aren't contracted with HAP maybe at this point in time, which is fine. But there's a lot of blasting going out with this Madahu event because they, due to COVID, are back into place. This will be discussed over and over and over again. So all sales calls, they must have this recording played with this disclaimer in the first 60 seconds of the call. My suggestion would be to set up a prompt to where when someone phones your office line, it simply says all calls will be recorded, for training and quality purposes. We've all heard this, calling any credit card company or what have you. And then we're going to get on the phone with the consumer, And before we go too terribly deep in that sales call at all, whatever the consumer's name is, Joyce, per CMS requirements, I must play this 18-second disclaimer for you. I'm going to stay on the line with you. Don't go anywhere, but I have to play this real quick for you, and I'll come right back and I'll answer any questions you have, okay? And then you or have your script for either your team or have your script handy and ready to then basically rebuttal against not offering every plan in your area. But that has to be played in the first 60 seconds. More importantly, your calls have to be stored for for minimum 10 years. So the storage, this is a big deal for agents. We have agents that tell me that they store their apps in their living room, right? Paper apps. I mean, some of the compliance out there needs buttoned down a little bit, but the storage has to be encrypted. And if you don't know what that means, then you need to find an expert or reach out to someone that can help you with that encryption. So not only do we need to record the calls, we need to then store the calls for 10 years encrypted in cold storage that is HIPAA secure. So now we're going into yet another level. I know some of you on the call have reached out in regards to some of the security and the jaw-dropping cost of this HIPAA secure storage, right? Amazon Web Services, AWS, they charge $2,000 a month for cold storage, for HIPAA secure storage. And it goes up depending on the volume that you have. So understand that there's a significant cost as an agent now to have this HIPAA secure storage, to have your calls securely encrypted, and more importantly, to be able to have the resources and ability to pull them for 10 years' time. Zoom, Get Response, TeamViewer, they're not going to provide this HIPAA secure storage. I will let you know this right up front. These chat rooms are great to be able to take over a consumer's computer and help guide them through the Medicare website, or to help guide them through the enrollment process, or to see my face, right, and hear my voice, etc. Those are not going to be HIPAA secure, and they're not going to have your storage for 10 years. They don't offer it. Google Voice and many telephony systems are not HIPAA secure. So we've taken the legwork out for you. We have found the solution for the agent platform. It's available on all iOS platforms. So if you have an Android phone, if you have an iPhone, it doesn't matter if you're on Verizon or T-Mobile or AT&T or Cricket, if you're on a per month basis, we have the solution for the SES agent base. It is available on your desktop or your cell phone. So some of you may have had like a Verizon number and then set up Google Voice or Hangouts, right? Where that provides you two separate phone numbers on your cell phone. You now, in essence, have your Verizon number for your family and friends, and you have your Google Voice number set up to be able to text via your desktop, or to be able to have it as a work line, because Google Voice, obviously, the voicemail never gets full like it would through any of your service providers, right? And that's a huge thing as an agent and your customer service and your referrals, is to make sure that your voicemail is never full. So this program basically operates on the same platform. You would have your Verizon, AT&T, whatever phone number. If you want, you could take that phone number and port it, meaning you would then put it into the telephony system that is now going to be your office number. So in essence, there's an app. You can just simply go into the App Store and download for free onto your cell phone. You don't need a desktop. You don't need an iPad. You don't need a headset. You don't need home internet service. All of this can be handled right on your cell phone if you're a field agent. But now we know that all calls are going to be recorded, stored, and secure for our agent base, that you have someone administering this on the back end for you. It's incredibly easy to use. We'll help you get set up. We have training videos coming. We'll be launching this August 1st, and it will be at a discounted rate. So if you have been searching for call recording, if you've been on Ring Central, Cricket, 8x8, oh no, I mean, there's, telling you, we've gone through almost 30 companies in the last month and a half trying to find a solution for all of our agents and all of their technology platforms. This is going to be a very important role that you're playing as an agent to make sure that you're protecting yourself. So basically, at this point in time, we're providing you the ability to have a cell number on your phone with a different ringtone, right, for family and friends. And then you have your office line that will record all of your calls, dictate all of your calls, and make sure that they're stored 10 years, HIPAA secure. We are providing this at a discounted rate, and we'll roll this out once again August 1st. I think the normal rate is $24 a month. And for SES agents, it's $14 a month. And obviously, we'll do something to the extent, right? You write 10 apps or whatever, and we'll cover it for you. But you need to make sure that as an agent, you are implementing something. We found the solution for you over 100 hours of webinars and calls, and making sure that we have the right technology platform for you, the agent, and protecting you, as that's what our main responsibility is as an agency. So I beg of you, get online, start Googling, wait until August 1st, get your certs and your AHIP or whatever completed that we need to get completed, but recognize the 3 changes that are occurring within your CMS regulations. 1, you have to make sure that anything self-created has a multi-plan, right? 2, you have to have that disclaimer on everything. So any marketing that you're getting created, billboards, radio ads, TV commercials, your own telephony system, and the capability of playing a prompt and moving on, right? All of that becomes so important to have set up long before this annual enrollment period. But having your call recordings will certainly help make sure that you will never have any unanswered allegations. So to help you further understand this, we recently had an agent that had an allegation. They were working at a Walmart store during this last annual enrollment period. They didn't do anything wrong. Someone from another carrier phoned them, confused them, and rewrote them. And then the agent had to go out and rewrite them, and they were unhappy with how they got moved, even though they did it on their own. If that agent had their calls recorded, then we would be able to pull and really track and help with that allegation on what date and time this occurred and what actually occurred with this conversation. So recognizing that will truly help even these allegations that may occur in a soup kitchen or at a food drive or at a grassroots events, because you will be conversing with that consumer. And if anything, it'll help jog your memory on what happened a year ago at a location. When you're writing a lot of applications or business, it's difficult to keep all of your consumers in order in your mind. So to review, your CMS rules, pages 195, 196. If you have not read them, please go read them. You don't need to read the whole packet. The 199-page packet is pretty dry. As an agent, as a professional, you should. But pages 195, 196 is where you need to focus on to make sure that your CMS rules and regulations are in place. Re-review that AHIP Module 4, Section 6. Once again, there's not a whole lot of information in there. And reorder, get approved any marketing materials needing the multi-plan code. Go through your office, whether or not your home office or your work office, make sure that you're now reordering and getting approved any table tents, business cards, trifolds. The list goes on and on and on how much you're marketing and how you're marketing. So important to recognize that we don't want to get in trouble after the fact. This is not a beg for forgiveness, right, situation. We need to beg up front for their permission, because there is no forgiveness when we discuss negligence and CMS compliance. your homework by August 1st. You basically have a week and a half. I want you to think through your marketing and any marketing that you're planning on sending out via mail specifically for this upcoming annual enrollment period. Get it in our hands. We'll get it submitted to CMS on the same day. It generally right now is about a 3 to 4 day turnaround, so pretty quick. At least you know that that's off your plate heading into AEP, right? So any marketing materials, really think through this weekend on what you'd like to put into a marketing material, what kind of flyers you're looking to have, any postcards you're looking to send. I know that there's a couple of huge carrier pushes going on here in Michigan, so we'll be having a lot of carrier branded marketing going out on behalf of the agents to then load into the telephony system for our agents to support those leads, right? But if anything that you want to create on your own, if you want a different style business card, reach out to us. We'd love to help you get one created or show you what we've created for other agents as well. But make sure that you're compliant on this. And make sure, preferably, that you have this to us by August 1st. Ensure that your telephony system is set up, beta tested, recordings, prompts, everything ready to go by October 1st. As I mentioned, we will have a huge rollout, a national rollout, August 1st for the telephony system that we have implemented for the SES agent base, providing you a discount or just even covering the cost for you and helping you administer it. If you do not have a voice recording, I would suggest that you begin thinking one through or setting one up. If you have not recorded the prompts, record your prompts. There are organizations out there that will record prompts for you very, very inexpensive. You're talking 50 to 75 bucks for that prompt to be recorded, but that does remove your human entry where, once again, if you forget a couple words, I don't want you to get yourself in trouble because you have an allegation down the road and you didn't say it verbatim. And that's the questionable part to this, is the verbatim. Update your website or websites if you have multiple. Make sure that your IT, your web designer, knows to put this on the footer is where you're looking for it to go. That footer just then is on every page on your website, but that disclaimer has to be everywhere. Update your email signature and any phone prompts and messages that you may have where you need to implement either for yourself or for your team to have that prompt played every time within that first 60 seconds. Is every call a sales call? No. However, a lot of calls lead up to sales calls, right? I got a referral from my sister, and what's your meds? That's not a sales call. That's an informative call, right? Gathering meds and physician or what have you to help them make the right decision or to go into Medicare's website to get that scrubbed. But it's leading up to that sales call. It's not all about that 3-minute call or helping them complete your PURL or helping them complete that online app that you already completed for them. It's everything that led up to that. What was the relationship like? Well, I talked to Joyce 29 times leading up to the sales call. Here's everything we talked about. Where did this allegation come from? Seriously. So understand, some carriers are very sticklers. If you have a consumer that reaches out to you or to the carrier and just has some questions, you can get an allegation for next to nothing sometimes. And you then can't reach out to the consumer, right? Because now you have an allegation, so you can't really figure out what exactly occurred half the time. But now you have to prove yourself. You have to cover your ass with CMS and the carrier. And this is so crucial as an agent to understand that, yes, you can go skipping through your career, but until you have that hiccup, now we have a problem, right? It's basically like going without a seatbelt. You can drive for decades without a seatbelt, but one day, if you get T-boned, you're going to wish that you had it on. And that is really where we're at this point in time with CMS and all of the allegations and complaints that they've had. I know we finished a few minutes early. As I mentioned, I'll always respect your time, 10 to 11. Come join us for our mixers that we're having in August and September. Meet your local reps. Come join us at the Oak Street Healths in August and September to get your priority health certifications completed, to get your Aetna face-to-face certifications completed, to learn more about the compliance, learn more about Oak Street Health, meet your local vendors. You'll get all this information blasted out to you at the beginning of August. If you have any questions, reach out to us for specific dates and times. We'd love to get you registered and entered for an iPad giveaway. Enjoy your weekend. I will look forward to speaking to you next week when we're discussing rate of return, how to properly market yourself, how to create that marketing game plan as I had discussed with you for this upcoming annual enrollment period. We are here 24/7, literally for you. Licensed agents are standing by to help you get your questions answered, to help you review any information that we've covered. This video, along with the prior 14 or 13 videos, will all be on YouTube as well, on the SCS Agent YouTube channel. Reach out. Stay plugged in. Let us help you understand and make sure that your compliance is implemented so that way you're running cleaner as a professional without the worry in the back of your mind that you may be doing something wrong. I'll look forward to talking to you all this upcoming week. Once again, I'm John with Senior Enrollment Solutions.